What's up, everybody, and welcome to the brand new show for the penultimate conquest. It's called Tower FM Radio, where my co-host Ro, hey Ro, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We're going to be talking all things Bungie and Destiny here, and I am very excited that Ruben let me have this. He knows I love Destiny, and who else loves Destiny more than Ruben? Right? Ruben loves Destiny so much. That's why
That
he
is
let me do
exactly
this.
right. You're
He's
right.
played
We'll let him go
5,000 hours.
uncontested.
Wow, he's a Chad.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
5,000 hours of Destiny.
Good old
But
That's
Chad.
impressive.
first episode of my rambling off my tongue. So let's get back to the good stuff. Rope, how are you today? Are you doing good?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to everybody about Destiny. It's been an interesting time, to say the least, but I'm sure we'll get into that as the show rolls on. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Now, Rope, we have two fantastic Guardians with us today. I think it's good that we introduce them both. First up, he's known as the Red Hood, and he's actually wearing a red beanie right now. Frank, welcome to the show. How are you, Frank?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being a part of this. We didn't have you on just because you have a dope red hood.
Okay.
And you have so many helmets. I forgot how many awesome helmets you have in your room now that I'm looking at them.
There's a few in the back.
Oh
You
my
can
God,
kinda
they're
see
so
them up
cool.
there. Yeah.
But no, we know. I see you on the Twitter. I see you playing Destiny all the time. So I figured you would be a perfect guest to have for the show. And rounding up our fire team of 4, since we can't do that yet actually in the game, we got Drew. Drew, how are you, good sir?
Pretty good. Turning in a lot of Crucible tokens today. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that last week, and it took me about 40 minutes to get through all my Crucible tokens, but hey, I don't have them anymore. But like I said, this is going to be a new show here, Tower FM Radio. We had a Destiny 2 takeover episode about 2 months ago, and actually, I think it was 2 months ago on the dot, back in December, and figured we can have a revolving show about Destiny because being a games as a service, it's going to be around for a long time, and hopefully, Ruben allows it, will be around for a long time too. So, before we get into the nitty gritty of what we liked about the current state of the game, I thought it'd be fun to introduce our guests and their guardians. So, Ro, we're going to start with you first as the co host. Tell and introduce everybody to your guardian.
So, I've been a Warlock main for, since the game came out back in 2014, 13. I've been maining Warlock ever since then. It hasn't been until this current expansion. I've switched off here and there using Titan and all that stuff, but right now I'm maining Titan for Beyond Light and the past expansion. I've been using Titan for a little bit, so that's who I'm maining right now. But I'm a Warlock main at heart.
Gotcha. And remind the audience what your favorite type of weapon is.
I love fusion rifles, even though they're not great right about now. I just love that archetype of weapon, and I really like hand cannons.
A man after my own heart.
Pour one
Frank,
out for Midnight Coup.
Midnight Coup. Yep.
Mhm.
I would pour one out, but this is carpet and I don't want to stain the floor. Frank, introduce everyone to your guardian.
I've been maining a hunter since 2014. My favorite weapons are hand cannons and sniper rifles, or hand cannon shotgun, depending on the situation, depending if I'm playing PvP or PvE.
Gotcha. And Drew, what is your introduce us to your guardian.
Okay, so back on I think PS3, the beta, I made this Guardian, and thanks to Bungie's elaborate carryover, I was able to preserve this Guardian from that beta, Awoken Female Warlock. And weird thing is, when I played the beta, I somehow just checked out completely, whether it was because online requirements were. I skipped Destiny 1 entirely, so when Destiny 2 came out, I was jumping into the collection of Destiny 1, but didn't have people to play with. So, and I saw that you could copy, like import your Guardian over to Destiny 2. And little did I know, getting excited for, me and my friend Lane, we'll have a few people to play Destiny 2. Everyone will be coming back. It'll be great. And we'll meet people. And little did I know how much that would lead to just thousands of hours of Destiny 2. And it being one of my favorite games of all time now, and having Triumph shirts and playing all 3 classes. I actually have all 3 classes this season. I played a Titan. They're all Awoken female, I think, and I don't know how that happened, except just like I was going to recreate the magic of that first character that I stuck with all this time. So I'm a pulse rifle fanatic, so honestly, the hardest thing for me was parting with an Argyle address.
Yeah,
I was
that was
still
a good
using
one.
that. I still use it. I have one of every element still, and I just don't want to let it go.
I hear you. I have not trust. I have not dissembled trust. The best gambit weapon there is. That hand cannon was so good, so I know exactly how you feel. Now, myself, I am like Frank, a hunter main through and through. That was my first character I ever made, and the gunslinger will always be my favorite class. And my favorite type of weapon is the hand cannon. I was lucky to get my favorite weapon in any game ever, Hawkmoon, with this past expansion. So it's that and the Keyblade, but I can't talk about Keyblades on this show. But yes, the
You could just
Hawkmoon is
pretend
back.
Lament is a Keyblade.
Sure.
The-
Little
You know
chunky
what I'm
keyblade.
saying?
A little chunky.
um, Anyway, yes, thank you for introducing everyone to your Guardians, everybody. So right now, I thought with the first season of Beyond Light coming to a close in about a week, I thought we could go around and what are our thoughts with Beyond Light? I know we talked about this earlier on our first show about it, but it was more so the game had been out for maybe about a week, so we didn't get a real good feel of what was going on. But right now, 3 months into content, give or take a few weeks, I thought what was everyone's final take on where Beyond Light stands in terms of other Destiny expansions? Rob, we're going to talk with get you first. What do you think?
Okay. I'll start off with my what I liked about it. So, from a story perspective, I really liked this expansion in terms of lore and just what it means for the universe and where it could go in the following expansions. The darkness finally being here, I think, is really awesome. It's something that I've been wanting for a really long time. Like the pyramid ship concept art is super famous around the Destiny community because it's been like shown off for so long and it's finally in the game. So I was super happy to experience that with the Guardians and everybody else. And Exo Stranger coming back, I know she was not a popular character in the first game because of how little she said and how little she explained. It's a meme in the Destiny community. But her returning and being able to reunite with her sister Anna was really cool, and I found that really fulfilling to see come through. I think just in general, they stepped it up a lot with implementing story in the game. I know that's been something that it's been not hard for them to do, but they haven't done, where it's a lot of the lore has been either outside of the game or something you have to read, which is fantastic. The lore that they wrote is wonderful, but I really would like them to continue this pattern of having more story in the game, whether it be a cutscene or these little interactions that they had with Anna and Exo Strangers, something like that. I really love the legendary lost sectors that they implemented. I don't know. Should I talk about my cons now, or should I just stay
Oh
positive?
yeah, no,
as we go on?
absolutely. This is how we talk about the state of the game. So if there are issues you have, please, Bungie,
Yeah.
I know you're listening. Very first episode, very 10 minutes into it, please.
I was a little bit more high on sunsetting when it first was announced. Like I thought it was a great idea. I still think it can be a good idea, but right now I'm not as high as I was on it when it was first talked about. Just because I don't know if they implemented it the best way, and I think the community just has to trust Bungie, and that's up to each individual player at this time that they think that they're going to rectify the situation. But right now, it feels like what they removed wasn't worth what they introduced. Like the Cosmic Drone is super nostalgic, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing really to do there at this time. And again, that brings back to my further point that we just have to wait. Unfortunately, we just have to wait and see what they do with it.
Mhm.
But removing not that people were going to these planets, I guess, is the argument though, but removing Titan and removing Mars and all those places just to give us a strike, right? Or two strikes, I guess. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But right now, it just doesn't feel worth it to me. But I am willing to wait and see where that goes in the future. But weapons is another thing where we're earning weapons that we can't even use sometimes. Like some of the weapons that are dropping are weapons that can't even be brought up to the max light, I think, some of them. I really hope that someday we don't get blues dropping anymore. That doesn't make sense to me, especially with legendaries being so easy to get. But that's really about it. Sunsetting, I'm feeling a little meh about right now. Or Europa, that planet, I loved it. Like there's certain areas, but the outside snow places can kind of get a little bit samey after a while. But I'm really happy that we got the planet at all, because that's another thing that I've been waiting to finally adventure on. That's about it.
I haven't read a recent TWAB, but I have to say, like, they just need to add a landing point at the north of the zone.
Yeah, they did say that they might do that.
They might do it, and not launching with it, I feel like is pretty egregious. Like, it would be one of my favorite patrol zones. I mean, I like it more than the moon, and I know the moon was a brought back. I know the Cosmodrome's a brought back, but so you can't really go to Dreaming City. It's like hard to look at this stuff in Beyond Light because they had these other studios working with them. They had Activision budget. They didn't have a year of COVID. But I think Europa could be everything they put out in Beyond Light. I'm jumping into me, so sorry. But like everything they put out in Beyond Light is impressive for COVID. But like you said, it feels like they removed way more than they put in. You know, I need like at least 3 or 4 more strikes to do. I mean, the part in what is it like the first 2 DLCs, right? Like Warmind and so Mercury and Mars. I mean, brought a couple strikes with them. I'm hoping that in the next year, and like as things are able to be getting back to normal with COVID and everything like that, I really hope that their plan for the next 2 expansions and all that leads to more content and more weapons and more like drop rotations and fewer things being like over sunset. You know, like they're starting to put back they had to put back the Seraph weapons, you know, and then they have to now address like the Forsaken weapons or the Dreaming City weapons that are going to be like what they call reissued, right? So it's weird right now because like I want to give them props for what they were able to put out, but there are a lot of problems with it. I'm glad that things aren't going away because it would be weird to have them work so hard being able to put out things like this. Like knowing it's not going away, I haven't actually engaged with some of the extra content this season, like as much as I normally would, and I've just kind of kept up with the regular stuff like Power Climb, Season Pass, Max Rank. But interested to know some other people's thoughts because I've run the raid once. I love the Dreaming City stuff. I love that like when you came back from the raid or when the raid was beaten, that you get Clovis Bray, you get that quest, you get stuff happening in the game, and that was the first little bit of it that really felt a callback to Forsaken, Dreaming City, and Riven, and everything that happened there in the cycle. If they can do more of that in the future, that'd be amazing. Even bringing something back because we have Blindwell still, but so many other these awesome things went away, like Menagerie and Escalation Protocol, and
Frank, let's hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Beyond Light right now?
I feel like it's the first season. You know, like the first season of a TV show where you're introduced to villains, you're introduced to new things, and you know there's a broader scope. Like you know this is going to lead into something really, really big, but it's not going to lead into it right now. So we're gonna introduce things, but we're gonna keep our cards close. It's not going to be too epic, but it's going to be epic enough to kind of wet the whistle a little bit. You know, I believe this is the first expansion since they're leaving Activision. I could be wrong on that.
Wasn't Shadowkeep there first?
I think Shadowkeep was, first, but it was also developed without like a year of COVID, and that was their first one on their own. I think with normal operations at their studio.
I feel like they're still kind of coming into their own of like their independent studio. It's very clear that there's some things that are going to take a little bit more of a backseat. In terms of like content. Like for example, like Hawkmoon being a seasonal item, I feel like it's kind of cheap. Mainly because like I have friends who are like, what the hell's Hawkmoon? And I'm like, oh, it's this thing, and they're like, oh, I can't get that. I'm not paying $10 for it. It's like, oh, okay.
It's worth $10, internet, just so
It
everyone
is.
is
It
aware.
is worth $10. I
Hawkmoon is
love
worth
it.
$10.
It's great. I love it. I love every second of it. I hate that quest, Harbinger. Oh my god,
man.
is the worst.
I just ran it with Ro yesterday.
Do you?
It was
Okay, so I have a
terrible.
question for you because I nobody can answer me this straight. Are you supposed to run that solo, or are you supposed to run that with people?
If you run it solo, you're a god.
Okay, I ran it
yeah.
solo. I ran it solo.
Good for you.
I had
Good for
a good friend of mine, Monzi knows, and I was screen sharing the whole thing, and I'm sitting there for 2 hours, just like, what the fuck is this? Why do I went in, I have to fight 3 bosses, go in, fight 3 more bosses again, go into an arena, like it was a mess, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm supposed to do this by myself.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely do
prophecy
it with
now.
other people.
Oh yeah. But it was
Yeah.
I like the season a lot. It feels a lot more of like a return to form for Bungie, and I can't wait to see what comes out of this whole darkness thing. They're obviously, setting up for a big story, judging by the names of the next DLCs, and especially the whole Sabbathan thing that's going on. So we'll see.
Very excited to see where that leads. Like for real.
Yeah.
They've been building up for that for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. And just continuing off what Rose said earlier, I definitely think that sunsetting is a good idea, but they definitely bit off way more
Mm-hmm.
than they should have, especially like sunsetting gear from Shadowkeep, which was barely a year old,
Mm-hmm.
and just like, nope, can't use those weapons anymore. Sorry. It's like, but I just did that.
I mean,
And
like you
unless
said, stuff's dropping that you can't take to the power cap, but there's also a bunch of stuff that you'll just see drop and you'll get like 1260. That's this season's power cap. Like it's done. And I was like, oh, okay.
I just think that and the good thing is Destiny knows. Like
Yeah,
they've
right.
gotten a lot of feedback from
Mhm.
this. A lot of people are upset because personally I miss Titan. I miss going to Titan and seeing all the ocean waves and everything, and going into crazy hive ritual stuff. I miss that a lot. I don't
Mhm.
miss Mercury at all.
No, I don't miss Mercury at all.
I do. I
I miss
kind of
the
miss
Mars
Mars.
strikes. Like
Yeah.
those are good strikes. Like
Yeah.
you can take the Mercury strikes and put any strike. Like the Cosmodrome strike, the Hive strike, that's a great strike. Better than Mercury. I want the Mars strikes back.
I miss you, Omnigul. I miss you so much.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that it's a good idea. But it also, if you look at the other side of the coin, it did free up a lot of space for everybody because Destiny 2 was taking up a lot of space on people's stuff. So, and it'll make it easier for them to patch, send out a patch to fix things. So I definitely think that sunsetting definitely needs tweaks, but I think it's a good idea. I don't like the thing they released. I think it was about 2 weeks ago on This Week at Bungie, where they talked about how they're bringing back Forsaken and Shadowkeep stuff, but it's only like 3 guns.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you have the Dreaming City there, pump some content and some like loot table like updates into it, or just make Dreaming City's loot just come back and it has new roles. Like they did with the raid loot, they did an amazing job with the raid loot. And I'm maybe parroting some things I've heard from other content creators, such as like Datto or, and just bring those roles, add new roles, come up with new roles. They've been really hitting their stride with that. I think community is very happy with raid and raid drops. Like put that into the content that's still there that is actually good content. Like everyone loves the Dreaming City and the stuff you can go do there. And give us some reasons to go do stuff there, especially for people who come in since free to play.
Yeah, because
experience Forsaken.
I still stand by the Forsaken is the best expansion that Bungie has ever done. So I definitely, because like Dreaming City has some of the best looking gear, and even though like I think Shadowkeep itself is pretty weak, some of the gear in Shadowkeep looks really cool. So it's a bummer that like, hey, you guys wanted free content. Here's more content. You can go back to the moon. Like, well, no, like want new stuff that like I haven't chased already, and I have 5 Shadowkeep sniper rifles in my vault. But you're telling me I can go do it again. Just
And what
unsunset those.
exactly? That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say it's really cool that those stuff are coming back, but the Shadowkeep guns and stuff that I may have held on to, I have to go re-earn them again. Like the ones that I got, I can't reuse. Like if I have a God roll Shadowkeep weapon that I got back then, I can't use it. Even though they're coming back, I can't use it. I have to go get another one, and it may take me forever until I get that roll again, which I think is kind of silly.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Shadowkeep introduce the Demolitionist perk, the one where you
I
get
think
kills?
so.
Yeah, because I
Yeah, I
remember
believe
my
so.
first gun. I think it was the Vex gun from Shadowkeep. It was the hand cannon, and I know that was the first roll I ever got with Demolitionist. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna change how I do everything. But now I can't use that gun anymore. But luckily, I have new guns that have that roll. So because Demolitionist may be my favorite perk because now I don't have to put so much stuff into oh my god, I'm drawing a
Is
blank.
it discipline?
Discipline.
Yeah.
I don't have to put much stuff into discipline now because as long as I got a gun that has Demolitionist on it, my grenades are coming back pretty quick.
Mm.
So yeah, me personally, I think Beyond Light's really good right now. I thought the story was meh. I thought it was just basically, hey, remember in Forsaken when you had to chase all those lieutenants? Well, we're gonna bring it back again. We're gonna do it a little differently this time. So definitely also I've seen in like some fun holiday tweets they did that Aramis may be coming back because she's not really dead. She's just
Yeah.
frozen.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's a
Um,
popsicle.
So it'd be
Yep.
cool for her to come back because I thought she was neat because it was like, hey, my people were dying and your god just left us. So I'm pretty pissed about that. So I thought that was neat, but like, what I really want to, I guess we'll get that later in the episode with what we want in the future. But Frank brought it up earlier. I think it'd be fun to talk about this season, the season of the hunt that's about to end in a week. What are initial thoughts on that? I'll start. They make me like Prince Aldrin again. Well, I guess the Crow now, but
Yeah.
I remember that was probably the most hated man on my internet timeline when Forsaken came out. Like everybody
Yeah.
hated the guy. Of course, everyone stanned the bad guy because he was hot or something like that. But deep down,
That's true.
we all wanted to put Ace of Spades,
Oh yeah.
even though we didn't have it yet. But when we reran the campaign, we wanted to put Ace of Spades in his brain. But now they did an unthinkable thing. They made me care about the Crow. And I think it's really good. I thought the story was great. I'm glad my boy Spider is back because he is one of my favorite side characters. So I thought it was cool. I thought the event itself was okay. It does get very repetitive where it's like, all right, fight two bosses. All right, you're done. That's it. Same thing over and over and over again. But it was a good way to hunt for new gear. Especially since I could like, all right, yeah, I definitely want this submachine gun. Okay, I'll pick that one. All right. And I can decide kind of what the perks I want for it. So I thought it was good. I like the fact that now the stories for the seasons are going to be more cohesive and it's not just, okay, all right, the season's done. That story, get out of here. It's nice that what's going on with Zivu Arath right now is going to happen in the next season and the next season after that, and how we're getting yearly stories now with those instead of just ending at seasons. And of course, again, Season of the Hunt. As mentioned already, Hawk Moon. I'll say no more about it. I got it back. Love that quest. Love that the Hawk Moon is basically the Traveler's Light because, yes, it is given to us by God in that game, and we shall use it to smite thine enemies with the cry of the hawk. So, anyway, Ro, what are your thoughts on the season?
Yeah, my thoughts are pretty similar to yours. I loved Crow's reintroduction to the story. Of course, I was one of those people that didn't like him that much after he did the unspeakable act that I will not repeat here on live. It's too bad. It's too terrible. How could he?
I did see an interesting thing. Someone
Yeah.
mentioned, I think it was Paul Tassi mentioned on Twitter how Destiny's story has gotten insanely better of how they tell it since Cade died.
Yeah,
Like, ever since Cade died, their storytelling ability has been top notch.
definitely more interesting for sure. I agree with that. I still miss him though. Still miss him every day. But yeah, I loved Crow. They did the unthinkable of me enjoying his character. I think he's a cute guy. I love his little ghost. So I was really invested in him and the spider story and us being able to finally free him. Well, hopefully he'll move from where he is now in the next season and he'll be free. We'll see if he joins us in the tower. But yeah, that'll be interesting.
Really interested
Hey,
to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Cora's gonna be like, "Oh, you
What?
brought a guest. I see."
What are you doing here? But because there is that one cutscene that we haven't got, hopefully we'll get it tomorrow at Reset with I think no, he's not in that cutscene. I'm thinking about Osiris and Zavala. There's a cutscene that there's a cutscene that we haven't seen yet that hopefully should release tomorrow.
Well, the trailer drops tomorrow for the new season.
Yes. But there's a specific cutscene. I don't know if you guys know what I'm speaking about. That was in the I know what you're talking about.
It's like an unfinished
Yeah.
cutscene.
Yeah, with Zavala and Osiris and some Cabal in the background as well. We haven't seen that yet. For some reason, in my
like a
mind,
war room.
Yeah. For some reason, in my mind, the Crow was there, but I don't think he was. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where they take his character. I agree the Wrathborn hunts were mindless, but very good way to focus on getting specific roles on items that you wanted. And that was basically my thoughts on the season. I feel like without Beyond Light, it would feel like this was a very lacking season in terms of content. But since it was coupled with the release of the expansion, it felt like we got a lot. So I'm a little bit worried about next season as to how much we're going to get, but we shall see.
And like the thing is, we'll be able to do Wrathborn hunts.
Yeah.
Even in the new seasons as well. So that will be a plus.
I have a question. What is going away? Because I know a lot of stuff's staying. What's going other than like the season pass reset? What are we?
Let me look at the last This Week at Bungie. I think they talk about it.
People who play a lot. I think my friend group is actually a lot of people who play a lot, but aren't necessarily like completionists with everything that comes out in a season. And this is one of those seasons where we still have some things on our checklist. And as much as I wanted to play a lot this season, of course, retail, right? So the worst season for me to, other than getting my season pass rank up, to get a lot of stuff done or to raid every week. But that's what I was curious about, because I kept hearing a lot of like what's staying, like Wrathborn hunts, but you said like pace 10 for Hawkmoon. So like, is that quest going away and then become a thing, or is it just going to stay?
So here's what is sticking around. This is from the This Week of Bungie from January 21st. This is what is sticking around until the end of year 4. Story missions will be able to be launched from a node in the director. So like the Crow mission, the first one, the Zivur Wrath hunt, probably. Speaking of hunt, Wraithborn hunts will still be in it. Adored quest will still be available. Crow's vendor screen on the Tangled Shore. Hawkmoon exotic quest and master activity, so looks like you'll be able to get Hawkmoon until the end of the year. Your seasonal seal and warden title, Ro, you're still gonna be able to rock that warden for a little while. These are the things that will no longer be available: Crow's bounties, messages from the field, seasonal artifact, and season pass. So pretty much it looks like you can't go the Crow to get bounties anymore. You'll be able to buy stuff probably from him, but it's interesting how they said Crow is still going to be in Tangled Shore in this year. So
sort of answer something we were talking about a little bit ago. Yeah. He'll probably be chilling there, but no bounties. Do you think they'll have one of the things we're going to talk about is, moving on to me and how I felt about the season. Like I was saying, I wasn't able to engage with it as much as I wanted to, but watching from a distance, this season was like, it had a lot of cool elements, like I said, with the raid, Beyond Light, kind of, right? But when that quest shop showed up for Crow, I was like, okay, this is hype. I want to go do this. And doing it, I was like, this is cool. This is like the vibe from Forsaken. I miss this. I want more of this. I hope they can do more things like this in the future. And then, the quest and exotic quest and the seals, things like that are things that I'm just going to either be behind on or miss out on. But Wrathborn Hunt's not going away is super nice for being able to use them for targeting stuff. I love that the one season, like I was able to engage with the season content as much. Like I played so much in the season right before Beyond Light, trying to clean up stuff, before vaulting, the triumphs, wearing my triumph shirt. missed both, what was it, Forerunner and the Triumph title by one thing, and had everything. I played like 200 hours, I think, working to get all that stuff done, and then just run a bunch of like the raids. Didn't buy the raid ring, but I unlocked it. And I got so many Umbral Ingrams. I love the recaster. They're bringing that back in this next season. So like in the absence of it in this season, I did feel like it was more story mission focused, and then more of sort of do what you feel like. And then here's a couple quests in a raid. Whereas I do like the everything is rewarding with Umbral Ingrams. It felt like anytime I was getting on, and then as I progressed that, I could go, and at the end of the season, I was like, oh, I can just go on this one item for the roll. I'm really excited that those Ingrams are coming back because I like that system a lot.
I do like that they're kind of nerfing that though, because it feels like every
Right.
time I was playing, I had like
Too many drops
7,000
bad.
Umbral Ingrams.
The concept is great. Too many of them was bad. So
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the season, you're just like, I could literally have all three of my characters filled up in their post box and their Ingram slots with those.
Yeah.
And then people were doing like funny things with that, with exotics, and there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. But
I definitely agree with you
I like
there.
the idea of like that random drop Ingram or a bonus Ingram or whatever you want to call it. Whenever that happens, you can turn it into something useful, or you can just continue to use it the way you use an Ingram. So
Absolutely.
I didn't miss it because I was not playing and grinding as much this season, but really excited for that to come back. And I mean, they drop while they're doing Wrathborn hunts in the next season. I'll probably do a lot more.
And
So.
I definitely think that the story is going to, it looks like Zebu Wrath is probably going to be a big deal in the next season as well. Because definitely going to have this lead up into Witch Queen. So I definitely think the Hive is probably going to be the overarching thing in all these seasons, and maybe dealing like the Cabal are now like, oh crap. Can you help us out here real quick?
Just a
Sorry
little bit
about
of
what we did to your traveler and all that, but we'll give you cookies. How about that? But Frank, what are your thoughts on Season of the Hunt?
I thought it was really cool. One of the things that in an undisclosed conversation I had many years ago with people at Bungie, a lot of things that came up was the idea of Destiny becoming more of a hobby. And at the time when they brought this question up, Destiny looked very like you do 2 or 3 things a day and then you're good for the rest of the week. Coming into Beyond Light and its like Wrathborn hunts and everything like that, it feels a lot more like there's a lot more stuff to do per week. You can definitely grind it all out in one day, but you know, stretching it out throughout the week is very nice. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I love that you can go in, you can pick what gear you want. You don't have to get anything you don't want, and then you're basically set for getting a higher item than what you can usually just find on the floor somewhere. I do like the stuff with Crow. I think bringing them in after this whole time was a really great idea. Even though it's going to be super awkward to figure out how they're gonna give him a redemption arc. I'd just say just throw a mustache on him. Give him a little handlebar mustache or something like right here, and then just like say, okay, this is Crow. And people are gonna be like, you look familiar. And the mustache is gonna stop him. It's gonna be a Superman situation.
Like, who's this guy?
There were some. I'm sure you guys did the quest where you go into his room, like his.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he talks about what he did during that time when no one liked him. He always wore his helmet like the freaking Mandalorian, and yeah, I guess that would be like you're saying, put on a mustache, wear a disguise or something.
Give him some sunglasses or something.
Yeah,
I
something
do.
like that.
I do really like Aldrin though. I hate him for what he did to Cade, but at the same time, PTSD is a bitch. And to be fair, he wasn't really having the most psychological times. You know, hearing his sister in his head go, "I kill this dude," and just like, oh, okay, well, chill. Now that he's kind of free from all that past trauma, you get to see Aldrin for who he technically really was, and now he's actually kind of a cool character instead of just some servant to his sister, and it's nice to see.
I do enjoy the thing when you finish all the Wrathborn hunts for the week for the Pinnacle quest and you go talk to him. the line that says, "I wouldn't want to be on your bad side." I was like,
Well.
sorry.
Yeah. What about that one from Spider? He's just like, you Guardians are so good at revenge, like right in front of Crow.
Ooh.
And he's just like, yeah, they are.
How about that steeplechase ornament set? Yeah, best part of the season, maybe. No, I know you're talking, but I'm just like, that set is great, and I immediately from day one was like, yeah, I need that. I need that for all three. I'm looking forward to transmog in the future. That was also an incentive for why I
Yes.
played so much before stuff was vaulted. When I brought up Escalation Protocol being gone, I would love to be able to go get that set. And I know some of
Oh,
Escalation Protocol's memory is like living on in Prophecy, and you have like the guns. As far as I know, you can't go get like a current wearable set of that. And since I didn't have it all and it's gone now, oh well, like can't transmog it. So I can lopsidedly transmog a few pieces from Titan when I was playing that time, and a few pieces from my Warlock. But transmog is awesome. So ornaments are great, and getting new gear. Prophecy still being around, coming back.
yeah,
Um,
good dungeon.
yeah. I honestly miss something like a Whisper of the Worm, or was it Outbreak? Yeah. So like,
Yeah,
I want something like that to show up in the next 12 months. That'd be delicious. That'd be delightful.
yeah. We haven't. They haven't
something
told
like
us
that.
how we're gonna bring back Whisper and Outbreak yet. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I'd love something like that, like a mission content, 3-person group content thing showing up in this next season would be
Oh, no doubt.
very awesome. Because I actually end up liking, or end up doing those. I did those way more than I did in the last year since Shadowkeep. These dungeons, so like, would very much like to see those again. Plus, it's always fun to just help your friends through them once you really get really good at them or know them. Like, that's always fun to just go and do that. Like, and know you're gonna get the thing, because like, not a lot of my friends are, hey, let's go run Prophecy because I will get this specific thing. It's sort of like you're either running Prophecy a lot or you're not. You run it once to get it done. But yeah, like going to get a Whisper, you need to go get that thing. And the Exotic Cipher, I know is not specific to this season, but that system, pretty great. I think they should juice up the, what is it? Let me go look at this thing. I'm actually like wanted to go look at this currency real quick. When they put new stuff in here and it cost the raid material, was it Valor?
Yeah,
Is that what it's called?
I think like Conquest or something
Spoils
like that.
of Conquest.
Yeah,
I want to see that continue. And honestly, like the longer, we'll just say this, right? The longer the raid takes, and assuming they're putting more raids in the next expansion or two, because we used to have so many raids to do that it was maybe even a little overwhelming for people, but being able to run all those for spoils, I love that as a system. I'd love that the only options aren't Last Swiss and Garden right now, and I love those raids each in their own, and well, except the last boss of Garden. I'm good on that. I'm good. But Last Wish is awesome. It's a long raid, and you used to do like 35, 40-minute Leviathan runs or whatever. I want to see more spoils stuff, more things to do for spoils, and more time. Kind of, you get more for doing a longer raid, or even if you speed clear it, maybe you get more as well. Like, because I know some of my friends on Xbox that I made in this last, I say right before Beyond Light, when things were going away. I mean, they've done like 100 Sherpas or 130 Sherpas or something this in Deepstone Crypt, so they're on raiding all the time, and they're having a blast with it. Also, because I gotta say it, they nerfed the frostbite thing. Please, why do that? Just don't do that stuff anymore. If it's like, fix the other stuff that the community is kind of like screaming about.
It's a good thing you mentioned looking toward the future, because segue. Let's talk about the latest this week at Bungie. That's going to be talking a lot about what's coming in season 13. So I figured we could just hit on the highlights here. See what we're looking forward to. So we still don't know the name of the new season, even though we're going to find out tomorrow when the trailer drops. But they are getting rid of weekly challenges. So weekly bounties, when you get at Shaxx, Zavala, Banshee, that other guy that has that other mode that's really bad right now that I only do for Pinnacle rewards. That's green. We won't talk about it. But yeah, do that. They're getting rid of weekly bounties for that. They're introducing seasonal challenges. So stuff like you see in Fortnite, all that other stuff. You're going to have about 10 challenges a week, and they're going to be different stuff coming from complete some lost sectors every week, kill 500 people with hand cannons this week or something like that. Just some different challenges. They said they're going to range from that to about get 3 wins in trials, which that's just give you the keys to the kingdom if you get 3 wins in trials right now. That's all I'm saying. So I think that's really interesting. I think that's cool, and it's definitely going to be the thing where if you don't complete it this week, if you don't complete week 1 and you come back week 7, you can go back and finish those other challenges during the week. So I think that's really good to help for the fear of missing out some weeks. It was like, oh no, I wasn't able to get that cool stuff this week, but I came back and did it later. So I think that's an interesting thing. Of course, this is all on paper right now. Don't really know how it's going to be till it's implemented in the next season, which is next week, which is crazy. New season next week. When Season of Arrivals was 2 years long, if we all remember that.
Jeez.
So I think that's pretty cool that they're doing that. Let's see what else. They talk more about Bright Dust. That all these new challenges are going to reward you some Bright Dust.
I love how much practice we got this this go around. That was nice.
It's nice. I feel as though I'm able to buy a bunch of stuff with Bright Dust now because they are doing a pretty decent job of putting cool stuff in the Bright Dust menu. I was able to get one of the Hawk Moon ornaments in the Bright Dust menu, so it's pretty nice. None of the Hawk Moon ornaments are great. I don't like any of the Hawk Moon ornaments this year. Give me the black and gold ornament from Destiny 1.
But something about that wood grip on either you can't see it, you know it's there. It looks the bluing on it.
I love my shiny Hawk. Like I just love my shiny Hawk Moon.
Nice.
So and the other one isn't bad. The one that's like dark and everything. That one's kind of cool looking. Yeah, I do enjoy that one. They and one of the big things coming with crossplay happening this year. Bungie is making some tweaks to recoil on PC to be what appears to be more in line with console players. I, as a PC player right now, don't really like that a specific system is getting a nerf. But I don't work in game design, so I don't know how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, I don't know how that works either. I always thought recoil was the same across the board. So,
well, I know with like mouse and keyboard, I'm able to offset some of a gun's recoil by just having my sensitivity turned into different ways. So it's fine for like we were saying in pre-show, PvE should have been implemented a long time ago for crossplay. Like that should have been in here a long time ago. PvP, I don't really care that much about it too, because PvP is, even though they nerfed Shatter Dive, it's still kind of a broken mess right now with Stasis. It's a fun broken mess.
The future stuff. Can I bring up 2 things?
We didn't talk about
this with Beyond Light Stasis, so that's a whole topic we'll get to in just a second. Before that, I want to talk about some like sandbox stuff. With Stasis is a really big deal. So, like you said, we'll jump into that. As they've changed things around, I feel like anytime I want to go and do a PvP and use anything but Stasis, I'm punished. And then even with Stasis, if you're not, I guess they nerfed the Warlock one, right? But I feel like hunters will just have that storm lingering all the time, and I still get killed by it, and I know to look for it, and I still get murdered by it, even when it's blue, red, whatever color it's trying to indicate. That thing's nasty. And I feel like Stasis, as much as they're going to tweak it and tune it, I think it was a good call to just be like, maybe remove that from PvP. I mean, I'm still on that camp because I like using all those subclasses for all the specs, whether it's Titan, certain ones. Every class has one that feels a little different to use in PvP, or not as great to use in PvP. But the classic 3 elements all of those are great. And there's quests that still want you to go use those
Mhm.
and do those, and you're trying to like, I'm going to complete some bounties, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go in and just get massacred while I'm trying to do like a void daily or something.
I definitely think I think they even mentioned when this started, like Destiny has to ride this fine line of being a well-made shooter and a giant
Yeah.
power fantasy.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting, but like it a Titan doing its stasis super in PvP should not last 5 minutes. I know I'm
Oh.
exaggerating there, but I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
as though they're able to go up and down the map like 7 times before that thing's done.
And they're unkillable. Like you cannot. No
It's
matter. I've golden gunned a Titan in his super twice and shot him twice in the face, and he's still running at me. It's like,
Oh.
what is this?
Yeah.
it's a mess right now. So and then you have the whole 3 peeking issue right now with people with swords and emotes and are able to see around corners that Destiny Bungie's trying to fix. But PvP, I've said this before, people have said there needs to be a PvP focused season, I think.
Yeah.
That way you can put all this stuff into it, because Gambit, for the love of God, got its own season. Where's
Right,
Shax's
yeah.
season, Bungie?
Where's Shax's this season? And I love that you brought up stuff about PC, because before I get into the other stuff I want to talk about, I just wanted to say that like a lot of other games find a way to just, and I know the TWABs have done that, the patches have done that, just balance things for PvP and like when against Guardians, when in combat with other Guardians, but keep leaning into that, because something that's like out in PvE can be in the sandbox like super fun and OP, and that's the power fantasy. Doesn't need to, like, we had like the first month or whatever, every stasis thing was canceling supers left and right, and like just you should watch you just watch like brick guardians just dropping out of the
Falling
sky,
like
and like,
icicles.
I mean, it was a great meme. Like it was a funny thing for if like it happened over a weekend, sort of like laser tag. But like
Mm.
some of that went on too long, and I do want to kind of get back to somewhat more of a balance where it's like, yes, when someone golden guns, right, that feels like you're still playing a shooter. And you mentioned golden gun, because I'm never mad when I get killed by a golden gun. Like that is, I'm always like props, like
Yeah, 'cause it's only
that,
6 shots.
right, and it's like you're still shooting. Whereas like I know Dawnblade lasts a really long time, but and that's the PvP super. But if I want to use something else, or still feel like I'm playing a shooter, that's a big deal. And Nova bombs are still like, I mean, they're still, even outside of Mayhem, Nova bomb's still doing some things that I think that needs to get looked at or whatever. It's like, but I miss like if there's like a non-super playlist. If I know this is like a Halo thing, right? If there's a non-super playlist, sure, people would probably be mad, but like I would actually play it.
Yeah.
I would it just be like, hey, when you're in the mood for just like using your guns and shooting, like here you go. And I know like the regular stuff, it's like very slow. Like you only get like one super a match and some of the more competitive stuff. But you mentioned PC, and I wanted to go to when we started this season. We did not on console, right? We did not have the gloriousness that is the December 10th update. It just makes Destiny better in every aspect, and
Mhm.
more people want to play on consoles and can play with us peasants, and it's glorious. Like the field of view, like the slider. I've never had a season more where I just want to turn on Destiny and walk around and shoot stuff and do stuff than this season. And if it had happened like this update had come before everything got vaulted,
Mm.
I mean, I could have seen myself playing like 300, 400 hours in a season. Like if I played 100 in a season, I would have tacked on that much extra time, because it wouldn't have been a hobby at that point.
Yeah.
I'm, like you on PC, I know it's not as much of a shock, but we've been having a great time, and this is just fantastic. So
Oh, like
coming
I
in for the
spent
long haul, like on
I've spent
Destiny,
so many
yeah,
hours on my Destiny 1 PS4 character. Like before I
yeah,
played it on PC, Destiny 1, even though it was 30 frames a second, still felt like the best shooter I've ever played before. The
same,
combat was so
Mhm.
yeah,
great. And
yeah,
then when I made the move to PC, I was like, oh, this is definitely where I'm playing it now. But and when I get my PS5, I know
yeah,
I definitely I just want to sit on the couch and play Destiny on my big TV. And I am
yeah,
excited for that 60 FPS, because that's how game should be now. Like,
Yeah.
you should have it 60 FPS, guys. And like I
And
said,
games should
again,
have field of view slider. Like, this is
yeah.
incredible. It's so good.
hmm
Whether you're on like a 1440p monitor or 4K or whatever. So we got like 2 tiers. I felt like when Beyond Light launched, even on like PS4s and PS4 Pros, something felt a little bit snappier. And then when you were playing the PS4 compatibility version of Destiny on a PS5 until December 10th or whatever, that still felt really good too. And then everything unlocked on December 10th, and it was like, oh, I've gone to Valhalla. This is incredible. Like, I've ascended to a new like plane of existence in Destiny, and so it's just more fun to play now. And looking forward to everything they put out.
Yeah, and I told Ro this the other day. Even though Destiny 2 it's a relationship. It gives and it takes. There are some moments where I just want to cry because Destiny 2 is just not in a good place right now. And then some moments I'm like, oh yeah, this is my favorite shooter franchise, possibly almost up there with my favorite franchises for a reason. So I think the game's in a good place right now. I'm very excited. Oh, another thing I want to mention: rocket launchers are getting 30% buff damage, by the way. So yay for my explosion boys. Swords are getting a 15% damage reduction because they were getting used so much. Like I feel as though sword was the way to go for PvE heavy.
The new
Like,
guillotine sword that
guillotine or lament in a raid, like
that's a
and
fun sandbox though. Like swirly blade guillotine. I mean, that's
So,
a fun
and
sandbox.
snipers are getting a little nerf for PvP where more flinch happens,
Yeah.
apparently. Because I feel as though I was able to get like 1 or 2 hand cannon shots on them, and then all of a sudden, oh, I was just headshotted. There it is. I'm done.
Yeah.
So I think some oh my god, phrases coming in. Oh,
Words.
no, that's what it was.
Words.
Ro, your fusion rifles are getting a buff. A buff.
Burf.
They're getting a
Buff
buff. Yeah.
Fusion
But
rifle go
like I
burf.
said, definitely check out the latest This Week at Bungie because it goes into a lot of detail about what's coming up in the next season. Also sad, there's going to be no Crimson Days this month.
Oh.
They're officially vaulting that event.
Is it because
I had
too many
fun
people are
ending
too
it.
sad that they don't have anything to do on Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Probably.
So that's unfortunate with that. And also check out the This Week at Bungie because there are some awesome Hawkmoon PvP movies because I love that she's back.
I love that gun so much. It sounds so good.
And
Just
we're
the-
getting a
just
new
the
Lost
sound.
Sector on Europa next season. So
Good. Yeah.
because they made a
That-
tweet. They made a tweet saying if this gets 7 likes, we'll add a new Lost Sector for Europa. So obviously they got 8. So
Oh, yeah.
we're getting a new
We got an
Lost
extra
Sector.
one.
But I think Destiny 2 is in a very good place right now. We'll know more tomorrow when the Cabal attack. I hope, cross my fingers, Menagerie comes back in some way tomorrow because I miss that so much. I hope that Zebu Wrath stuff keeps coming more because I'm ready. Like, even though I didn't like Shadowkeep so much, I love when Destiny gets spooky.
Yeah.
I love that. I like make it scary, make it
make it dark.
right, make it to where like even though I am an immortal space zombie that can respawn, I want to be scared.
Bring
So do that.
tension back. Yeah, like,
Like,
it's like fighting Spooky Hive and Savathun. Like, this is gonna be some really good stuff.
bring Taken King vibes back into Destiny. I really want that because the first mission of Taken King still is the scariest one in Destiny, where he just comes up out of nowhere and Era screams like, "Oh my god, he's here!" Ah!
Give me a
Fingertips on the
toggleable
surface of
flashlight.
my mind.
Who just did that?
That's all. So
I couldn't see the screen, but who just said fingertips on the surface of
that
my
was,
mind?
that was me.
Yes, that's my favorite Eris line. So I am very happy about that. But we are about wrapped up here on the first episode of Tower FM Radio. Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate you being here with us on this first episode. Frank, thank you for coming.
Thank
I'm
you for
so
having me.
happy that you're here. I hope you get so many Tarkov kills tonight. It's ridiculous.
I hope so too. I hope
I
tonight's
hope
a bountiful one.
I hope on Twitter tomorrow I see check out this guy's Tarkov kill, and I hope it's you.
Thank you,
Drew,
thank you.
thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy you could be here with us on this first episode. I hope you get everything you asked for in this new season. I
Yes.
hope Stasis just disappears.
Well, I don't want it to, yeah, like I don't want it to disappear. I have my concerns in PvP, and I was the only one in my friend group who like regularly enjoyed stomping around in the Crucible or doing Iron Banner, and it's become a thing where like I didn't into Iron Banner much since Stasis is a thing because I was just like, no, I'm kind of good.
We are
Yeah.
getting one last banner of the season tomorrow.
Yeah.
Glad you mentioned that. So I was able.
Next season, Shattered Throne relevance. I'm very excited for. Like I said, we have our issues with the reissue and the sunsetting, but they're making some more reasons to go do the old dungeons. And then getting new versions of that Reverie nonsense. Like, good stuff.
All right.
Even
Is
if
there
it's-
anything? Oh God, my voice just cracked there. It went deeper. Is there anything else anyone would like to add before we check out of here?
Hey Bungie, if you're listening, bring space battles on. Why do I have a ship if I
Yes.
can't shoot it?
Yes.
You did it in Halo Reach. You did it in Halo Reach. You can do it. I know they can do it. Just let me do it.
Ever since that Taken King trailer with Aldrin fighting in space, I wanted that too. I don't know how they'll do it, but like you said, they've done it. So I echo that.
All right, we've reached the time of the episode where you plug what you're doing. Ro, where can people find you? What are you doing now?
You could find me on Twitter at Rowro, RAUWRO, or you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Rowro, or find my my website called thankyougames.com where I write stuff about video games, and that's it.
Check out his website, everybody. Ro's really good. Hire him to do stuff. Frank, what you got for us?
You can find me on Twitter at VenomUnfitSnake. VenomUnfitSnake, just how it's said. And at Twitch, where I'll be streaming Tarkov, probably for the foreseeable future until I eventually cry my eyes out from all this PTSD that I have. I literally, like, last night went to, like, put my head on a pillow and swore I heard somebody upstairs, and we don't have an upstairs. So I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm starting to hear footsteps now. Other than that, man, I'm not doing much. Just Tarkov and then Twitter.
Gotcha. Drew, where can the people find you?
So I'm at Endorphins SC on Twitter, ENDORPHINS SC on Twitter, and then Endorphins1445 on Twitch. Didn't get as much streaming done as I wanted to do last year. Planning on doing a lot of niche JRPG stuff with streaming, a lot of Destiny stuff going into this next season, and probably some shenanigans in dungeons and raids. And maybe even trying to get my girlfriend, who's been very active in Destiny but has not done a lot of in-game stuff, usually just plays with me and ranks at the season pass, and kind of has been trying to catch up on a lot of the legacy stuff. Like, we went and got her guns. I'll be doing some stuff on Twitch, so like if I'm on Xbox, I'll be doing stuff with the people I raid with there, but mostly I'm on PlayStation, so come see me there. And yeah, exciting games releasing tonight, Destiny tomorrow, and next season next Tuesday. So lots of good stuff.
Indeed. Blizzard, if you're listening, Drew is one of the biggest Diablo 3 fans I know. So put him on stuff for Diablo 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's only so many thousands of hours I can put in games that start with D, like Diablo and Destiny. So you release a game that's like got that good gameplay loop and has good loot drops, and fires off those things in my neurons that make me want to just keep playing and grinding out loot, and I'll play it. So
Indeed. I am Eric C. Ginn on Twitter. And remember, boys and girls, to like, comment, subscribe here at The Penultimate Conquest on YouTube, The Penultimate Conquest on Twitch, The Penultimate Conquest on Twitter, and thepenultimateconquest.com, our website. Completely lost that there for a second. But from all of us here at Tower FM Radio, keep them eyes up, Guardian. Ruben?